In this video, I want to talk to you about how to get sponsorship for anything. Check it out. Let's talk about how to get sponsorship for anything. But before we do, we publish a lot of videos all about sponsorship here on this channel. So take a moment now to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon so that you never miss one of those new videos. So let's dive in. So what is sponsorship? Well, it's just about slapping logos on stuff so you can get money from brands, right? Not exactly. Sponsorship is a marketing discipline that reaches across the entire marketing and advertising world to borrow from all disciplines in order to do one thing: connect an audience to a brand in a meaningful way. And you, the sponsorship seeker, have an opportunity to do that. And if you can connect audience to brand, you have an opportunity potentially to make a lot of money. Sponsorship is not about putting logos on stuff. It's not about sponsorship packages. It's not about gold, silver, bronze. It's not about partnerships. It's not about investment. It's a marketing opportunity that allows you to reach across the entire advertising and marketing spectrum to create an amazing multidisciplinary marketing opportunity that just happens to be called sponsorship. There are three types of sponsorship that we're going to talk about in this video. The first, and in my opinion, most important, is good old cash sponsorship. Sponsor gives you money, you give them assets to help them access your audience. The other type of sponsorship would be a media sponsorship, where instead of getting money, you get media assets in exchange for recognizing this media sponsor through activations and sponsorship assets. They give you exposure, hopefully help you sell tickets, and hopefully help you raise the value of all of your sponsorship because you're getting significantly more media. And then the third type is in-kind or contra sponsorship, where a company gives you free stuff instead of cash, and you recognize them through sponsorship assets. No matter what type of sponsorship you're engaging in, you are going to have to use your sponsorship assets, which have a market value, to recognize the sponsor, whether it's media, whether it's free stuff, or, in my opinion, preferably, whether it's cash. So what you want to do in order to pursue sponsorship, step one, the most important thing you can do is collect audience data and get crystal clear over who your audience is, whether they are attendees, listeners, viewers, fans, social media followers, donors, volunteers. It doesn't actually matter who your audience is in terms of what the sources are, but what really matters is collecting audience data. Why? Because without audience data, you can't engage in sponsorship. You won't know who to reach out to, you won't know what activations to build, and you won't be able to prove to sponsors that you actually connected them to their audience, which is the only reason any company does sponsorship anyway. We want to see at least 25 data points on your macro or broader audience, and then 25 data points for each of at least 3 avatars or buyer personas. You want to be able to be really clear about who your audience is when you're seeking sponsorship. Then you're going to use all that great audience data to help you identify prospective sponsors. All that data is going to tell you what brands your audience prefers, and it's going to tell you whose consumers this audience are likely to be. That's how you're going to identify which companies to reach out to. If you're just sending sponsorship packages to companies because they have money and you'd like some, that's reason number one that you're not hearing back from them. But when you're reaching out to companies because you have their exact target market, their exact target audience in your database, and you use the right approach, you're going to start hearing back from sponsors. Only then can you use all of this information to build a prospect pipeline. I like to see at least 300 prospective companies in my database before I start doing outreach. Yes, you heard that right. Now, once you've done your audience data properly and you understand who your audience is, actually finding 300 companies is really easy. The hard part is limiting it only to 300 companies, because you're going to find all the brands that your audience wants to buy. And then you're going to discover all of the competitors to those brands. So having a few hundred prospects in your pipeline, especially using our 7x7 prospecting outreach technique, you very quickly have a full pipeline of people to reach out to. Then obviously you need to get the attention of your prospect. How do you do that? By just sending them a sponsorship proposal, of course. Kidding. That is a terrible way to reach out to sponsors. Unless your goal is to have a sponsorship package thrown in the garbage and make no money, you don't want to do this. Instead, you're just going to send a really short, simple email. Hi there. This is who my audience is. Do you want to jump on a quick call and have a conversation? If you can articulate in 1 or 2 sentences why you've reached out to this prospect and point to the shared audience, the likelihood that they're going to respond goes through the roof. If you want some free email templates, I've actually put some together for you over at sponsorshipcollective.com. You're just going to head over to the drop down and then click on the free resources. We've already pre-written a whole bunch of emails for you to just copy and paste. They're short, they're simple, and they're all based on the idea that you know who your audience is. The purpose of sending an email is not to sell anything. It's to book a discovery session where you're going to sit down across from your potential sponsor. You're just going to ask them questions about their business and what they're trying to achieve. Then you're going to ask them about their target market, their target audience, and how they determine return on investment. Not sure how to run a discovery session? Well, this channel has a ton of videos on sponsorship discovery, and that exact same place, sponsorshipcollective.com, drop down, free resources, you're going to find, I think, the 37 best questions to ask in a discovery session. So when it comes to discovery, we've got you covered. There's plenty of resources here on this channel or over at our website. But the point of discovery is not to sell. It's to learn and to understand, to put together a business case or a proposal to send after the meeting. Once you've had the conversation with the sponsor, then you're going to go back and figure out what assets and what activations will help deliver on the sponsor's goals based on the conversation you've had. And that's how you're going to put together a custom sponsorship proposal rather than e-blasting a gold, silver, bronze package that nobody wants to see. In other words, to do sponsorship, you have to customize everything. Your sponsorship proposal should be customized based on the sponsor's needs, based on the conversations you've had, based on the outcomes of your discovery session. Once they have agreed and you've put together a sponsorship proposal that they're interested in and that they agree to the terms of, then you're going to engage your lawyer and put together a sponsorship agreement for your sponsor to sign so that everybody is on the same page. We don't want any misunderstandings. We don't want any mistakes being made at this stage. So be sure to engage a lawyer and make sure your sponsorship agreement is written correctly and that your sponsor understands what they're agreeing to. Then after you've delivered on everything, after your campaign, your event, your charity, your podcast, whatever it is, whatever that sponsorship engagement is, when it's over, you're going to put together a fulfillment report proving that you delivered on everything that you said you would. And in that fulfillment report meeting, you get to ask them to come back for your next event, opportunity, podcast, campaign, whatever it is. That, from start to finish, is how you engage with sponsors, regardless of what your sponsorship opportunity or property happens to be. I would love it if you got value from this video to drop down below in the comments your biggest takeaway, the one thing that challenged your way of thinking, the one thing that you're going to do differently. Share it down below in the comments. And if you have successfully engaged in sponsorship in the past, share one thing that I didn't cover in this video that you think would be really helpful for people to hear. And remember, the sponsorship proposal doesn't make the sale. You do. Good luck out there.